TLDR.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to lead someone on?
Mm-hmm.
How do you be close friends with someone who could be attracted to you?
Mm-hmm.
Part of why I picked this question is just to see the anger and fire that it's going to ignite in Gaby. But here we go.
Yeah, because I read the TLDR, but I have not read the rest of the question, so I'm ready to be mad.
Wow, get ready. Hi, Allison and Gaby. I've followed you both for years and absolutely love you two in the podcast. It's been a great source of comfort during this difficult past year, and I would love to hear your perspectives on a question I've been struggling with for a while now. My question for you both is, what does it mean to lead someone on? A year ago, my best friend told me he was in love with me. He fully believed that I would leave my boyfriend of several years to date him. When I turned him down, he said that he and his friends thought I had been leading him on and using him. At the time, I didn't think I was leading him on, but he and others obviously felt that way. This falling out was the most painful experience I've had because I had to suddenly and repeatedly hurt one of the people I loved most in the world. I'm not over it a year later. The backstory is that I was best friends with this guy for a few years. We are all in our mid-20s. We hung out a ton, laughing about silly things and trying different hobbies. Because my boyfriend travels most weeks for work and doesn't share many of my hobbies, I'd often spend more time with my friend than my boyfriend. At one point, I realized that I started to develop feelings for him, but because I love my boyfriend and my friend also was involved with someone, I decided those feelings didn't need to be a big deal, and our friendship was important enough to make work. So I set my own personal boundaries, no physical affection, always inviting both my boyfriend and friend to events, making sure my boyfriend knew how much time I was spending with my friend, and naively thought things were good. From my side, I thought of him as my best friend and didn't think our friendship was romantic. From his side and the side of his housemates, they thought I clearly wanted to date him because I hung out so much and I was just building courage to leave my boyfriend. My initial reaction is that's unfair. Spending a lot of time together is not a promise of a relationship, but I also know I handled the situation imperfectly. The big thing I handled poorly is that over time, I avoided talking about my boyfriend to my friend. This was because my friend started being awkward when I talked about my boyfriend, and it was subconsciously easier for me to avoid that red flag than confront it. Maybe this means I was leading my friend on. That wasn't my intention, but intentions matter less than impact. I will probably see my former friend again in a few months, and I don't know what to say to him. I want to say sorry for the things I did wrong, but I'm still not sure if I did as much wrong as he said. Honestly, I'm still a little mad that I viewed our years-long wonderful friendship as me using him after I said I didn't want to date. But also, I should have realized he was in love with me and made better boundaries and not avoided talking about my boyfriend. I don't know, hindsight is 20/20, and I still miss my friend a lot and feel heartbroken about my role in our friendship ending. Anyway, I'd love to hear your two's perspective on what it means to lead someone on and how to have close friendships with someone who could be attracted to you. Your face. It's a doozy.
This is the most apologetic email from a person who probably did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Like, this email, you are beating yourself up and giving this other person the benefit of the doubt in a way that, look, I've come a long way gender-wise. I'm no longer a kill-all-men feminist type of person. I do think we should kill this man and his housemates. The objectification of you, the entitlement, the idea, the fact that you already had a boyfriend and you are your own person, the idea that by not being interested in him, you have thieved him of something that was never his to begin with. And then he made you think that you did something wrong. This has become so twisted. You were wronged by this person. This person wronged you. And now you're coming crawling to your favorite podcast saying, oh, I don't know. Well, did I do something wrong? I did this bad and I did this bad. No! Read this back. Print this out. I want you to print out this email you just sent us. I want you to put it on big, like cue cards for a TV show. I want you to go to Kinko's and I want you to print it out that big. And then I want you to read it out loud to yourself. And then I want you to stop, and then I want you to read it out loud to yourself a second time. And then I want you to look in the mirror and say, self, what?
Yeah.
I am so glad that I didn't know the full extent of this email, that I just read the TLDR. I'm about to flip my desk.
I love to pick ones that just I know will get you riled. It's so fun.
I am so angry. break it down.
There's a lot here. I think in this specific example, the real issue here, because I think that people get confused. I think that close friendships can be confusing. But his reaction is the most illuminating part of all of it.
Oh, the entitlement. Well, you turned me down. Well, me and my housemates said that you actually liked me. Oh, I'm so glad we pulled John, Joe, Fred, and fucking Daniel. And now based on the polling data, like a fucking game of Family Feud, we have decided that you must now leave your boyfriend and be with me. Who gives a shit what fucking David, who doesn't even know how to properly wipe his ass, thinks? He lives with this guy. He doesn't have a say? I'm so mad. I'm so mad.
But I also totally understand why V is blaming. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say herself. And like, it's also like whenever you hurt somebody that you care about, if you are like a person, you know, with empathy and with the ability to feel guilt, like it's very normal to question like, oh, I must have done something wrong here. What did I do wrong here? And it feels really yucky to hurt somebody. But in this case, like this, you didn't do anything wrong.
For V to say, well, I stopped talking about my boyfriend as much. Like, do you understand? Like, for someone to be like, oh, well, they stopped talking to their boyfriend about their boyfriend as much, so they're clearly in love with me. The level of delusion.
I will say, like, moving forward, right? If you have a friend who is sexually attracted to whatever gender identity you are, and you feel like they are getting weird about your romantic partner.
Yeah.
This is a learning opportunity, right? So maybe if you found yourself in this situation in the future, you would maybe say, hey, when I bring up so-and-so, you seem to like blow it off or you seem to get annoyed. Like, what is that about? Mm-hmm. And it might just be they don't like your partner, but it might also be the result of feelings of jealousy or weirdness. And so maybe this is like a cool learning opportunity of like maybe discussing this stuff more out on the open. And like, obviously, you didn't do anything wrong in that it wasn't like you were anything other than friends with this person.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what happened was you didn't want to date someone. And that person took that as you have done something to them.
Or like they expected there to be a dramatic change in the dynamics of the relationship. And you can't get mad at someone when dynamics in the relationship don't change. Like, you know, like you were established as a friendship. You can't then be mad that it didn't turn into something else.
And you should be mad that you spent so much time with someone who ended up viewing you as an object. You should be upset that you invested friendship and you spent time with and trusted and loved and had a relationship of friendship with someone who then ended up treating you as disposable, who then ended up treating you as an object that they were trying to win, that they didn't get to win, and so they don't care anymore. It would be one thing if he was like, look, I can't be friends with you right now because I just have a lot of feelings or whatever. But this behavior is not one that shows that he cares about you as a person. And that sucks. That's a thing that happens to people sometimes. And it just like sucks to realize that the whole time that you've spent being friends with this person was they were waiting for the day that you would fall in love with them.
I mean, I had a very similar experience where I had a good guy friend. And when I broke up with my boyfriend in my early 20s, I had to have this conversation with him where he was explaining that it didn't make that he had like assumed that we would be together. And I had to be like, what? He it was different because I had broken up with my boyfriend, but like, he was like, yeah, like he like couldn't believe that the next step in my life wasn't me dating him.
The only reason this is the seeing you as an object and autonomy. The only reason that you are not together is not because you, Allison, don't want to be with that person or can make decisions ultimately about your own life. It's because you're stuck with this boyfriend. Ugh. Oh, I'm so mad.